Dakota Stadium in Frisco, Texas. It's North Dakota State, the Bison, going for a 4th straight title. Illinois State, another team from the Missouri Valley Football Conference, seeking its first championship in school history in football. The Bison got here by winning 3 games at the Fargo Dome. Illinois State the last 2 weeks. Impressive road wins at Eastern Washington and against the #1 seed New Hampshire in the semifinals. North Dakota State will receive. Illinois State won the toss and deferred. And the FCS championship is underway. There is a penalty marker to start. And it's John Crockett taking the opening kickoff. But a flag back at the 37. Eddie Shelton, the head referee. And we're waiting for him.
Offside. Kicking team number 28. 5-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
So North Dakota State will tack on 5 more yards. And we get to see this Bison offense led by Carson Wentz. He's a triple threat. He can beat you with his arm, he can beat you with his leg, and oh, by the way, a 4.0 student in the classroom.
And that comes in handy because he does a lot of minutia at the line of scrimmage, and their run game in particular has a lot of responsibility pre-snap.
2 tight ends set on 1st and 10 for North Dakota State, and Wentz back to throw. Being chased. Breaks the tackle by the middle linebacker Meehan, and he picks up 5 yards. Teddy Corwin on the stop, and there's the running ability of number 11.
And a very big athlete as well, and you can see it. He took some punishment on that particular play. 6'6", 230 pounds, but you're exactly right. Mobile guy for that big of a guy, but also a very good arm and very smart at the line of scrimmage.
This is a patient, methodical offense that North Dakota State employs. They give us to the fullback, Andrew Bonnet. He busts through the 40-yard line for a Bison first down. Planning for success brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. Kelly, how do these teams plan for success?
I think North Dakota State, they're going to have chances down the field. They have to hit their mark when they throw the ball deep, and they have to play like a champion. To me, that just simply means you've been here, you've done that, play clean and execute well. Illinois State, tackle is a football team. They didn't tackle well when they played New Hampshire, and don't flinch. They're going to be punched in the mouth. The question is, how does Illinois State respond?
Both of these teams out of the Missouri Valley Football Conference, co-champions in the league, but they did not play in the regular season. R.J. Urzendowski, the true freshman, chased down by Braden Crate. It's a gain of 8 yards. Urzendowski, the hero of the 2nd-round win against South Dakota State. He had the game-winning touchdown catch in the final minute.
And we already see North Dakota State coming out offensively and really breaking some tendencies. Play action pass, first play of the game. That time it was Urzendowski on the boot. The quarterback gets outside the pocket, but it's a physical power run game, but it's the lethal play action passing off of that run game.
Again, play action. Wentz. He's going to have to improvise. He does. Wentz has the 40-yard line and tumbles across the 35. A big gain by the Bison quarterback. Give him 20.
And this is the play action pass off of that power run. Very well defended down the field, but this is the athleticism by a big quarterback. Not interested in going out of bounds. Plants his foot and gets extra yards.
Wentz came into the game with more than 550 rushing yards, 2,800 plus through the air. That's a single season Bison record. He broke Brock Jensen's mark. Jensen was the quarterback on the last 3 championship teams. And the first carry for John Crockett. Spins across to the 30-yard line before he's swarmed, and there is a flag.
Holding. Offense. Number 54. 5-yard, 10-yard penalty. First down.
Penalty on Jeremy Kelly, the right guard. John Crockett had that last carry. He has been sensational in the postseason. 165 yards per game in these playoffs. And he set the school single-season record for rushing yards and attempts. He's a workhorse.
And he's the identity for this offense, maybe this entire program currently, that power run game. Very disciplined and good with his eyes. He has explosiveness in him as well.
Three-step drop, and that pass tipped. Teddy Corwin got his mitts on it. 2nd and long. And there is John Crockett, 1,900+ yards this season.
And what I like about the young man is the discipline. There's a lot of discipline in terms of aiming points in the run game. He has the ability to explode it outside, but you have to stay at the point of attack first. John Crockett might be the perfect running back for what the Bison like to do offensively.
This was his 3rd straight 1,000-yard season. In the last 2 years, he split time. Again, play action, Wentz with time. Now he's chased. And Wentz still on his feet. Cuts it back across to the 20-yard line where he's brought down by Alex Donnelly. And the ball came out. And Illinois State covers it up. Alex Donnelly punched it out. Tevin Allen recovered the fumble.
And I like the gaminess of Wentz. Big physical quarterback and wants to get extra yards, but sometimes it's just simply too much. He takes one right on the melon and gives this ball up. Great stick by Alex Donnelly, 40. And Tevin Allen, the safety, is there to pounce on it. This game is going to come down to who executes, who tackles, and who doesn't turn it over. And right now, the Bison put one on the carpet.
And so Illinois State gets its first turn on offense. First ever FCS championship game for the Redbirds. And Trey Roberson leads this team out. He has been sensational in this postseason. On first down, the give is to the FCS's leading rusher, Marshawn Coppridge. Nearly 2,200 yards. Coppridge has been outstanding all season, but it's Roberson who took off after the loss to Northern Iowa. He makes this team go.
Yeah, he makes this team go, and he makes this team different, and different in a good way. It's the quarterback zone read. So you're going to see Coppridge between the tackles, and you're going to see Roberson outside the tackle. Roberson has made the team better. He's also made Coppridge very, very good as well.
A transfer from Indiana, Roberson. He's going to keep it on the zone read. A stutter step. Roberson to the outside. Across midfield, and he'll scamper out of bounds at the Bison 45. A gain of 30.
It's a zone read play, which means zone run inside. The offensive line is blocking it as if the running back's getting it. When the Bison lose contain, as they did right there, number 41, Nick DeLuca, coming inside. 49's inside. Your quarterback, Roberson, has the speed to take it outside. That's exactly what has made this team better this year.
Offensively, Illinois State is as complete a team as you'll find in the FCS. Roberson, a 3,000-yard passer. Coppridge led the FCS in rushing, and they've got 2,000-yard receivers and an offensive line that's had the same 5 starters in every game. This is Roberson again, chased by Carlton Littlejohn, and Roberson just gets back to the line of scrimmage, 2nd and 10. Good pursuit there by Littlejohn, the all-conference linebacker.
Yeah, much better discipline at keeping the edge, and that's what you have to do as a defense. You have to have gap integrity, but you also have eye discipline, and you're going to know run inside and quarterback, typically Roberson to the outside, and you just have to keep your eyes right. He's a very good ball handler, and he also has speed to get it outside.
Roberson steps up, His receiver, Cameron Meredith, fell down, and it's 3rd and 10. And you look at the offensive production. I said 2,000-yard receivers. Lasheen Neblett needs 5 yards to get there. And not listed there is the tight end, James O'Shaughnessy. 500 yards, 7 touchdowns. You can't forget about him either.
And what you should write across the screen right there is balance. All of what you see on the screen has to do with a balanced offensive approach. And O'Shaughnessy is going to be big today because of what the Bison like to do defensively, which is to keep 2 high safeties.
On 3rd and 10. Roberson over the middle. That's caught by Meredith.
It should have been caught by Meredith, Anish. I think he dropped the ball right at the end. And getting into the softness of that 2-high zone that North Dakota State is known for. We call it Tampa 2. 2 high safeties. The middle linebacker runs the middle of the field. There's a void in front of that middle linebacker. And Trey Roberson found Meredith, and Meredith didn't finish the play.
So Meredith can't hold on. 4th and 10. C.J. Laros on to punt it away. A second-team All-Missouri Valley Football Conference selection from Canberra, Australia, the capital city of Oz. And this one bounces inside the 5-yard line. And a terrific special teams play by Illinois State. A 41-yard punt, the Bison pinned deep.
The NCAA FCS Football Championship is presented by Northwestern Mutual, proud official partner of the College Football Playoff National Championship game, and in part by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Let's go Birds! Let's go Birds!
The Illinois State contingent here in Frisco, Texas. They are outnumbered, though, considerably. The Bison fans traveling well from Fargo. Zach Vraw in the game for North Dakota State. He hasn't played since the 2nd round due to a hamstring injury. He's the Bison's top wide receiver, and that's Vraw in motion. And movement up front.
Ball start. Offense, number 46. Half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
That's Andrew Bonnet. Remember, these teams haven't played in 3 weeks, and we're seeing a little rust early on.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Anish. Chris Kleiman told us that it was a little bit too long of a layoff for his own good. He would rather have it be more 2 weeks, but we're going to see maybe some of that early in this game.
There's John Crockett on 1st down, and he's met hard at the 5-yard line. Corwin and Dante McCoy there. The Bison, your 3-time defending FCS champions. 15 consecutive postseason wins. One of 3 teams to make 4 straight trips to the FCS title game. The other 2, Youngstown State and Eastern Kentucky. Youngstown State did it when Jim Tressel was the head coach. This is a very good front 4 for Illinois State. You want to watch for number 4, David Perkins. Quick off the edge.
The thing to look for early on for North Dakota State is they're running that power run game. They're going to be typically leading with the fullback, pulling a guard, and they have to handle the athleticism of that front 4 for Illinois State that you just referred to. Those Illinois State defenders up front, I've never seen anything like this. The number of tackles and the distribution of production on the defensive line of scrimmage is unreal.
All 4 starters on the D-line have at least 50 tackles and at least 6.5 sacks. Illinois State in the nickel here on 3rd down. Wentz throws, that's incomplete. Intended receiver was Kerry Woods.
Tremendous coverage by corner Mike Banks, who is actually the best cover corner. Somewhat undersized, but he has a boatload of confidence. The back shoulder throw to Kerry Woods was actually well thrown by Wentz, but the coverage was much better by Banks.
Field position game early on. Ben Lecomte, who was bothered by a quad injury. Coach is telling us he's healthy. Lasheen Neblett tackled by the ankles as he gets across the 40-yard line of North Dakota State. So early on, The field position game being controlled by the Redbirds of Illinois State. A team from the Missouri Valley Football Conference will win the title. Will it be Illinois State's first or the fourth straight for North Dakota State? There's Brock Spack. You just saw him a moment ago, the Missouri Valley Football Conference Coach of the Year. Chris Kleiman in his first season as head coach at North Dakota State. He took over for Craig Bull. He inherited a team that lost 20-plus seniors off of the three-peat, and it's been incredibly impressive what the Bison have been able to do in a reloading year. Here they are playing for a championship. Great starting field position for the Redbirds on their second drive. Play action. Roberson going downfield for Neblett. And it's broken up. Terrific play, but a flag. It looked like C.J. Smith got his mitts on the ball, but a penalty marker comes in.
C.J. Smith was on the coverage and was in pretty good position. He closes late, makes a little contact with Neblett, and does not look back for the football. I think that's a good call.
Pass interference. Number 6 defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
You see right here, C.J. Smith is in good coverage, but the reach of the left hand pulled Neblett back, arrived a little bit early, and that might have been allowable if Smith is looking back for the football simultaneously.
I made a good play with the right hand. It was the left arm which made the contact. It is not a spot foul in college, so a 15-yard penalty. Here's Coppridge, and he is wrapped up by Kyle Emanuel, the Buck Buchanan Award winner. That's given to the best defensive player in the FCS.
You know, we've had North Dakota State multiple times the last couple of years. Every coach that talks about Kyle Emanuel says relentless. That is a great word to have associated with you as a defensive end, and that's exactly his MO. He plays from snap to whistle, down after down.
Loss of 2 on 2nd and 12. Coppridge gets the edge, bulldozes across the 20, and finally pulled out of bounds by C.J. Smith. It'll bring up 3rd down.
Offensive scheme for Illinois State, we talked about it. It's quarterback zone read, usually the running back inside, with Roberson having the ability to get to the edge. And then it's a lot like North Dakota State off the power. It's play action, and they tax the secondary deep. And we've already seen it once this afternoon on the deep throw to Neblett.
Illinois State better than 50% on 3rd downs this season, 58% in the postseason. Coppridge on 3rd and 4, and he's got the first down as the Redbirds move the chains. Illinois State co-champions with North Dakota State in the Missouri Valley. Brock Spack, the conference coach of the year, and this is the Redbirds' first trip to the FCS championship game. 13-1, a school record for wins for Illinois State. And the only other championship that they have in school history across all sports, baseball, that was back in 1969. Roberson's going to keep this. Doesn't have much room. Esley Thornton on the stop. It's about a 1-yard loss.
This is a power run game to this side right here, but Roberson doesn't stay to the point of attack very long. Everything is outside. He gets a little too antsy, tries cutting it back inside right there. You have to stay to where you see the backside of that power game. A little bit premature by the quarterback on that decision.
3-receiver look. John Mark Anderson, the freshman in the slot. Roberson going through his progressions, now flushed. This is where he's dangerous. Throws on the run, back in the end zone. Touchdown, Anderson. first career touchdown for the redshirt freshman, and it comes in the FCS championship.
Watch how Roberson keeps the play alive. It was a smash route to the left, the tight end going to the corner and a receiver out in the flat, but it's Anderson leaking across the back of the end zone, following his quarterback outside. Good job by Roberson keeping his eyes downfield.
Anderson was big in the second-round win against Northern Iowa. Point after Myossiker is good. And Illinois State, which has been so good in the first quarter this season, does it again. They've now outscored teams 137-34 in the opening stanza.
Illinois State has scored first in this year's FCS championship, taking the 7-0 lead over North Dakota State. Kara Capuano welcoming you back to Toyota Stadium. This isn't going to be a pillow fight. It's going to be a brass knuckles and baseball bat fight. That prediction belongs to Illinois State defensive coordinator Spence Nowinski. Toughness has defined the Missouri Valley Football Conference for years, guys, and North Dakota State head coach Chris Kleiman told us it's especially rigorous up front in the trenches. We've definitely seen that in this first quarter.
Yeah, Kara, this is a game where it is strength against strength. Illinois State, #1 in the conference in total offense and scoring offense. North Dakota State, #1 in total defense and scoring defense. And there's about 4 or 5 different numbers that you can manipulate, where it's one team does this really well and the other counters with the same really well on defense. Eric Perkins across the 30. He tries to crawl to the 35-yard line, a gain of 27. Look at the FCS ranks for both of these schools. We told you what they were doing in conference. North Dakota State, one of the best defensively. Illinois State, one of the best offensively. And then when you flip it, North Dakota State's pretty good offensively, and Illinois State's pretty good defensively.
I think you just summarized why both of these teams are here. Right. There's no doubt about it. They play really well collectively, team-wise, and special teams is going to be important. We've already seen that. The first big special teams play was the punt that pinned North Dakota State deep, established field position. Illinois State's offense pays it off.
And another penalty. If it's against the Bison, it would be their 4th.
Illegal substitution. Offense. 12 men breaking the huddle. 5-yard penalty. First down.
We see Chris Kleiman right there. Not very happy with that. And the thing is, we talked about that North Dakota State has to play like a champion. Being highly penalized and turning the ball over is not what we're talking about. They are 3-time defending national champions because they typically execute really well, and they're not doing it early in this game.
The Bison only had 3 total penalties in their last 2 games combined. Wentz over the middle, open receiver. It's the tight end, Kevin Vaughn. Vaughn picks up a first down. He's one of our impact players.
Yeah, Vaughn at tight end. We see him in the middle of the field on that last play, and he's going to attack those safeties, Allen and McCoy. A lot of quarters coverage on the back end, which simply means 2 high safeties, corners outside of those safeties, and Vaughn is the guy that has some plays deep middle against that coverage.
While these two shared the conference title, they did not play in the regular season. John Crockett gets the call, running off tackle, using the stiff arm. And he's out of bounds at the 50, and a flag comes in.
I think McCoy's going to get called for face mask here. McCoy did a nice job of running the alley outside when the running back Crockett bounced it, but I do believe he got the face mask.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense. #1. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And actually, they called Tevin Allen running that alley, and they're exactly right. It was that Crockett has his hand on the face mask, and Tevin Allen, the other safety running that alley, that got Crockett's face mask.
Allen, a 5'9" free safety, one of 3 all-conference selections on the back end of that defense. Crockett, the lone setback on 1st and 10 from the 35. Quick drop. There's Zach Fraw, North Dakota State's leading receiver, back after missing the last 2 games He picks up 7.
A good job by Wentz being on the same page as Vra. They just simply made eye contact because of the soft coverage outside, and Wentz just raises up and bangs it out to Vra. Good to see 82 back in the lineup.
He was limited with a hamstring injury. North Dakota State going a little quicker than usual. Check down to Crockett, a very good receiving back. Crockett spins across the 20 and finally bumped out of bounds inside the 15 at the 14-yard line. It's a 14-yard pickup.
Anisha, like the patience of Wentz. You see the balance right there on the end of that check down by Crockett. But Wentz could have escaped the pocket early. He stayed in and found his check down. I like the discipline of the quarterback staying in the tackle box and dropping the football off on time. That's a good example of it.
King Frazier, the Nebraska transfer, comes in to spell Crockett. Two tight end look with the fullback. There's Frazier. And Frazier dropped at the 15 for a loss of a yard. It's Braden Prate, second team all-conference defensive tackle, and he was a guy who had Division I interest out of high school.
And he came from the backside from his defensive tackle position. That's where you see the athleticism show up with that front four. And I'm telling you right now, 6'5", 6'4", 6'3", 6'2", 6.5 sacks up to 8 sacks collectively across the board. And the production of tackles as well is really impressive.
Wentz drops the snap, recovers, steps up, looking to make something happen. Nothing there. Teddy Corwin brings him down. It's a loss of 2, and so far, you got to give a lot of credit to that Illinois State front four.
Very athletic up front, and Wentz just has what he wants outside, one-on-one, but he didn't do the most basic thing, which is secure the shotgun snap first. He was able to get the ball and basically get back to the line of scrimmage, but you see a little rustiness right now out of the Bison, and they're the defending champions. Right now, Illinois State is handling this environment better than North Dakota State is.
On 3rd and long, Wentz, pocket collapses, under pressure, trying to get away from Prate. He knocks the ball out. And North Dakota State able to cover it up, but that may have knocked them out of field goal range.
I think you're right, out of field goal range, and it may mean that North Dakota State potentially goes for it on 4th, but I see their field goal team coming on now, but not a very good decision by Wentz. Very, very good quarterback typically in terms of decision making, not good there.
Well, I guess they marked him down at the 24-yard line to the chagrin of the Redbird contingent. Adam Keller, 41-yard field goal is good, and with that kick, he has now tied the single-season FCS record for field goals made with 27.
It was interesting that they blew that dead. They apparently said the forward progress had been called. I don't know, that seemed like a quick whistle to me.
Well, I'll tell you who was in the middle of that play, Braden Prate. And defensive coordinator Spence Nowinski told us for his unit to play well, it has to start with Prate, and Prate's made an impact early.
Yeah, we'll see if we can hear the whistle.
It seems like you heard it, but after the play was further back. All right, we have the head of NCAA officials, Rogers Redding, in our booth. Rogers, what did you see there?
Well, what happened there was that the forward progress was stopped. You could see the official on the sideline raising his hand to indicate that the ball was dead. You might not hear the whistle, but they're going to allow the forward progress, and the drive back is not going to be allowed.
Short kick by Tom Barneson, fielded by Lasheen Neblett. He's taken down shy of the 24-yard line. Oh, there is one more college football game of importance. Monday night, about 30 minutes from here, Marcus Mariota and the Oregon Ducks look to secure their first national title. They'll do it against Ohio State, 8:30 Eastern, Monday night on ESPN. I got to be honest, I didn't think Ohio State was going to play the way it did against Alabama. And for a lot of folks who are picking Oregon, and Oregon's the favorite, after what you saw Ohio State do to Alabama, how can you count the Buckeyes out? Play clock down to 1. Roberson with time. He's got Coppridge in the flat. Nice stutter step, and Coppridge taken down at the 38-yard line. Now this is Championship Central. Like we said, 40 miles between the two venues, AT&T Stadium and Toyota Stadium. Jerry World holds a few more people.
Yeah, and what a venue the AT&T Stadium is. And how about the color schemes? That worked out well also. North Dakota State and Oregon, very similar. Illinois State and Ohio State. I think that works well also. We didn't have to change dress.
Not at all. There is Coppridge again. We told you about John Crockett, how he's the workhorse. And Coppridge is going to get the majority of the carries for Illinois State, and rightly so. Almost 2,200 yards. He leads the FCS in rushing.
And what's impressive about Coppridge at 5'9", 200 pounds is the yards after contact. I mean, he very seldom goes down on first contact, but also the effectiveness and the efficiency. Typically between the tackles, and he gets the majority of the yards that are there to be had out of every run.
We have reached the end of one quarter here in Frisco, Texas. Illinois State leading the three-time defending champs, 7-3. Shroff, Kelly, Stauffer, Caracapuano. It's the first FCS title game between two teams from the same conference. And the Missouri Valley Football Conference had 5 teams in the playoffs, 9 postseason wins, an FCS record. It'll be 10 after today. And this postseason has validated the strength of this league. Illinois State working on second down. Roberson off play action. Throws on the run in traffic, caught by Neblett, and make it incomplete. Third down.
And Roberson needs some help on the other end, throwing the ball well, but it's a second drop. Neblett on that one, and Meredith on a play before, but getting Roberson outside the pocket, very well thrown, and Neblett just doesn't look it in. And Thornton, the linebacker, just kind of ran by Neblett, sitting down in that zone. That linebacker, you would like number 9 Thornton to hunt up that receiver in his neighborhood a little bit more thoroughly than he did on that play.
On 3rd and 6, the give is to Coppridge, and he's tackled at the 44, well short of the first down. So 4th down coming up for Illinois State.
Illinois State just trying to catch North Dakota State off guard defensively, running Coppridge up the middle, has big playability. North Dakota State's defense finds a way to get off the field. I think that was an important moment in this game. I think Illinois State is feeling very comfortable early. North Dakota State needed to get off the field and get the ball back for Carson Wentz and company.
C.J. Smith back deep for the Bison. Fair catch signal. And Smith makes it at the 16-yard line after a 41-yard punt. North Dakota State down 7-3. They'll have the football when we return.
The NCAA FCS Football Championship is brought to you by Dish. Only the Hopper from Dish gives you the power to watch all your live and recorded TV anywhere.
How's it going? You get to have fun during championship week. Members from the Bison and Redbird football team got to experience bowling, billiards, arcade games, laser tag, and then the athletic directors from both schools faced off in the friendly Great Texas Barbecue Bowl. Illinois State, by the way, won the Barbecue Bowl. And for the Bison, they've got the football, trailing after one quarter for the first time in these FCS playoffs. Wentz on play action. Throws downfield, and that is a catch. Trevor Gebhardt along that far sideline, tackled by Josh Birch.
Moving the pocket, very good coverage by Birch, number 27, but Gebhardt, I'm not sure if he secured that all the way to the ground or not. Called a catch on the field, and it looks like they're going to roll with it. Very well thrown by Carson Wentz. He is a very good thrower of the football on the move.
Darius Anderson upended after a gain of 5.
Darius Anderson has found a little role. He's really listed as a running back, but he plays the slot receiver. With Bra being down, you really had to shuffle things around at that wide receiver position, and Anderson brings some versatility. You know, giving the end around on that particular play, trying to outflank Illinois State defensively.
Was Anderson in motion. Crockett spun down about 2 yards shy of the first down marker. 3rd down and 2. Crockett came into this game 80 yards shy of 2,000. And in his last 5 games entering today, 840 yards rushing.
Simply playing his best football of his life, to be quite frank. Fresh legs, he got healthy as they entered into this playoff run, and he's really the offensive identity. Power run established with number 23 is what North Dakota State is about offensively.
And the shotgun on 3rd down. Here's the blitz. Wentz flushed. Gets away from Kioshin. Open receiver downfield. It's Zach Raw. Doesn't quite have the legs under him with that hamstring injury, but still picks up a first down.
And it's keeping the play alive that works right now for North Dakota State. It's all about Carson Wentz's athletic ability. Broad releases up the field outside, and he just is clapping for the ball, literally backpedaling, waiting for his quarterback to find him. Wentz's escapability on the back end makes Broad available down the field. Big play by the quarterback, and Broad didn't have the legs, but he did find an opening.
Quick screen caught by Kerry Woods, tackled immediately by O'Shea Dunmore, the Oregon transfer. A gain of 2, 2nd down. Woods, if you remember in the semifinal game against Sam Houston State, was carted off the field. We're told, though, he is good to go, had a neck sprain.
Yeah, actually got carted off and taken to the hospital for x-rays, and it's good to see him back on the field.
Wentz with that last pass sets a school single-season record for completions in the year on the quarterback draw. Wentz across the 15-yard line to the 13. He's a big boy, 6'6", 231.
Yeah, you have to make a business decision when you go up to tackle that quarterback. And offensive coordinator Tim Polasek for the Bison told us that it's going to be more about his athleticism extending plays than design quarterback runs that we see right there. That was a quarterback lead. It was designed for number 11 to carry the football.
Third and 3. Here's Crockett. He is tackled by Dante McCoy, the safety, and this will be close. It'll depend on the spot.
Crockett has such a sense of what his team needs, and he extends the ball, but the question is, was his knee down before he extended? I think the left knee was down. Yeah, the left knee was down, and I actually think this is going to be reviewed and brought back about 1.5 foot short of that line to gain. I think that's a good call.
The ruling of a first down is under further review.
You know, it's where the ball is when the knee goes down on that particular play. I think this is going to be about 1.5 feet short. Take a look at it again. Left knee down as the ball is extended. The left knee's already been down before he reaches across right there.
Let's see where that knee goes down.
Stop it right there. Knee down, ball short. I think North Dakota State lines up in their most massive package of bodies they can get personnel-wise if they're a little short, and they need to make something happen right here on this drive. I think they go for it anyway.
Okay.
Rogers Redding is in the booth with us, the head of the NCAA officials.
I think the question here is going to be whether it's indisputable that that knee was down at the time that the ball was short of the line of gain. I mean, it's pretty clear, but is that really down? I think that's the question that the replay official is going to have to answer, whether that's indisputable video evidence to overturn that call.
That's why the ruling on the field is so important.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the ruling on the field is a default. They go to that, and so that's why it's important, because sometimes you just can't tell from the video that it's absolutely clear that it's knee down in this case.
I know on like ball security issues where they're supposed to, the officials err on the side of calling it a fumble initially. On that type of play, Rogers, is there a default on that where they err on the side of knee down first, or is it just what they see in live action to begin with?
Yeah, that's what they see in live action to begin with. It happens very fast, and of course a lot of times you can't tell whether that knee's down or not, and so they're gonna give that ball stretched out if they can.
You know, Nish, in the meantime, John Crockett has such a knack for making those little things. You know, he's disciplined at the point. He has the athleticism and speed to bounce it when it's time to do so, but it's those things. We've seen this before when they need a big play, when they need a first down, when he just has to eke something out. 23 has the experience to do that.
If you look at the Bison's playoff run in the quarterfinals against Coastal Carolina, Crockett had a couple of big touchdown runs, including the one that really sealed the game.
After further review, the ball will be placed on the 11-yard line, 4th down and 1.
Well, it appears that North Dakota State, Kelly, like you said, is going for an offense out on the field on 4th and 1.
And it's actually inside the 11, so it's about probably 1.5 feet. And remember, you have Carson Wentz that's used to being under center, and he's 6'6", 230 pounds.
Bison 4 of their last 5 on 4th down. 5 for 9 on the season. And there's Wentz. That's where it helps to be 6'6".
And I like the fact that he recognized where the softness was. You know, Illinois State defensively was bearing down on the center, had 2 guys right over the head of the center, and he sneaks off to the right. There's a little softness off to the right side of the guard, and you have to recognize that as a quarterback. Where's the softness? And slide down the line without giving ground, and that's what Wentz did.
1st and goal for North Dakota State. Crockett makes a couple of guys miss and is taken down near the 5-yard line. 2nd and goal now for the Bison. Well, Kelly, we've seen the Bison a lot this postseason. A play they like to run down here by the goal line is the old 5-wide receiver look, and then it's quarterback draw.
That's right. Prototypical quarterback draw look, and they do like it, especially deep in the red zone. Right now they kind of have their big guys in there. This is a lot of times a power play, or they like to get Wentz outside the pocket on a naked type of boot somewhere.
Wentz throwing for the end zone in traffic, incomplete. They'll bring up 3rd down.
This is actually a throwback. They play action pass, and you start to launch the quarterback outside the pocket, but that was designed to go back to Kerry Woods the entire time. You're hoping that the receiver gets lost on the backside of the play, and actually it was Elbers, Luke Elbers, the 2nd team tight end, but very well covered inside and outside by the Redbirds.
Well, here's the look. 5 wide receivers. Could this be a draw? Maybe that's what Brock Spack is thinking too. 3rd and goal. Illinois State calls a timeout to get its defense set. Big play coming up for North Dakota State. 8:47 to go, first half. All right, Adnan. All right, now North Dakota State faced with a 3rd down and goal. Illinois State just called timeout. Before we went to break, we were talking about the Bison going spread, 5 receivers. And they sometimes like to run quarterback draw. I don't know if they come out with the same look.
I think they changed the look for that very reason. Illinois State called the timeout, probably notifying the defense or reminding them quarterback draw. Completely different set of personnel now.
2 tight ends for North Dakota State. 11th play of the drive. Wentz wants the end zone. Touchdown, North Dakota State. It's Luke Albers.
Very good chess match going on. I think the burning the timeout by Illinois State to remind the defense that 5 wide means quarterback draw with a 6'6", 230-pounder. So what does North Dakota State do? They change it up and play a 2 tight end game down to the left. The outside tight end, Elders, goes deep. There was a tight end underneath holding that coverage, creating some space. Very well designed and executed by North Dakota State offensively.
4th touchdown reception of the season for Albers. 2nd this postseason. And the Fisheries and Wildlife Management major gives North Dakota State its first lead of the afternoon. The FCS championship game pits 2 teams from the Missouri Valley Football Conference. Both North Dakota State and Illinois State have 1 loss on the season, both to Northern Iowa, a team from the Missouri Valley. Let's go down to Kara Capuano.
Honored guest, guys. I'm with the Missouri Valley Football Conference Commissioner Patty Viverito, first female football commissioner, 30 years now on the job. What makes playing in this conference so tough that you've got 2 contenders in the title game?
We play incredibly smart ball, and we play really physically, and we play it week in and week out, and it prepares you for the playoffs.
Now, we've been calling this the FCS Championship, but you guys had a T-shirt made. You've got a different idea. Show us the T-shirt, Patty.
It is a national championship game, but these 2 teams tied for our regular season title. And so this is actually the Missouri Valley Football Conference Championship game for us.
One true champion, Anish.
Oh, those words sting in the state of Texas. Here's the dangerous Tevin Allen, and he's gobbled up inside the 15. Oh, there's the T-shirt. Yeah, it is a de facto conference championship as well. She's right.
Yeah, I would definitely sport that thing. She also knew her conference football too, right? I mean, she knew exactly what this conference presents that's so hard to deal with for the rest of the FCS level.
Hey, think about it. 5 teams from the Missouri Valley Football Conference get into the playoffs. 2 in the championship game. 2 others eliminated by schools from their own league. South Dakota State lost to North Dakota State. Northern Iowa lost to Illinois State in the rematch. Marshawn Coppridge, the first-team All-American and the Conference Offensive Player of the Year. Coppridge out of bounds as he crosses the 40-yard line. What a season he's having, a gain of 28.
And how about the yards after contact? Once again, we talked about it. And Christian Dudzik, the safety, is typically a very good tackler right there. And he doesn't lock up. And if you don't wrap up number 25, he's just going to bounce it and get more yards. You have to come up there and meet him with your entire body. And Dudzik does not do it on that play.
With that last run, Coppridge with more than 2,200 yards rushing on the season. Roberson gets rid of it quickly, incomplete, low throw. He wanted Neblett.
Well, one of our keys to the game is Illinois State can't flinch when they get punched, and I think that last drive was a prototypical North Dakota State drive offensively. Physical, they paid it off with a touchdown, and now how does Illinois State respond?
Zone read. Roberson to keep it. And he plunges ahead to the 48-yard line, a gain of 4. And it's 3rd down for the Redbirds. Kelly, the passing game really has not been a factor for Illinois State. They do have a passing touchdown, but Meredith and Neblett, their top receivers, both have a drop, both without a reception.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of rhythm to it, and I think one of the underrated parts of North Dakota State defensively is their coverage on the back end, and I think the type of coverage they play, that Tampa 2, forces offenses to be very disciplined and efficient in the pass game, and Illinois State just simply hasn't been that yet.
Bison bring the blitz. Roberson downfield. He wants Meredith, who goes up for it. Incomplete, no flag, and good coverage that time by C.J. Smith.
Remember, C.J. Smith got called for the pass interference before. Watch at the end right here.
He turns.
Exactly right. That's the difference. Similar play, but he turns and looks for the ball to C.J. Smith late. That's exactly how to do it.
Only 28 yards through the air for Illinois State. Coming into the game, Roberson in this postseason was averaging almost 290 yards through the air per game. Laros, good punt. Fair catch signal by Smith. And he makes it at the 11-yard line. The FCS championship is one of the last fall NCAA titles to be awarded this season. You can catch up on all of the great championship stories from every fall sport in every division on NCAA.com. See who the winners were from cross country to volleyball. Log on today.
Well, Illinois State needs to get off the field defensively right here.
I was just going to ask you, time of possession. When you have spread, no huddle, up-tempo teams, you can throw that stat away. With these two teams, it matters, and right now, North Dakota State dominating that category.
And it's typically the fourth quarter where that time of possession really starts to show its wear and tear.
There's John Crockett. And he torpedoes to the 15-yard line, a gain of 4.
North Dakota State offensively is all about, we talked about the power run game, and that's really their identity, and it leads to time of possession. And ball security is another cornerstone of what they want to do offensively. They did turn the ball over once, but that last drive was prototypical North Dakota State, and it's typically right down Main Street in that A-gap area.
They gave us to the up-back Chase Morlock. Morlock breaks the tackle, picks up a first down. He gets to the 26-yard line, a gain of 11.
That A-gap discipline that's needed by the defense, because that's what North Dakota State does. Lead with the fullback, skip an offensive lineman, a guard in this case from the right side, and then it's the A-gap discipline. Crockett has to keep it tight, and he's very good at doing just that. That is North Dakota State's identity on the offensive side.
Andrew Bonnet, the fullback, showed 2 consecutive fullback dives called by the Bison.
Yeah, and kind of a changeup. You know, Bonnet's usually a guy that just goes in somewhere and runs into the first thing he sees, but he's carried the ball a couple of times, and he's that up back. You know, typically in that A-gap discipline we talked about, he's the leader. He kicks out 1, and the guard pulls and kicks out 2, and now all of a sudden North Dakota State changes it up and gives it to that lead blocker, and the defense has lost him twice.
5 carries on the season for Bonnet, 2 today. Wentz in trouble, and down he goes back at the 20. Mike Banks coming on the corner blitz.
The corner fire from the boundary side. As a quarterback, you have to see it. The problem that time for Carson Wentz, it was play action away, and typically that's when the quarterback turns his back on the boundary side, and that's exactly what Wentz did on that play. Because of the design, he turned his back on Banks, and Banks got to it.
Banks making his 50th career start, most on the team. He's from the south side of Chicago. Near sideline, that is caught by Zach Vra at the 31.
A little more field position in terms of punt this, but Vra catches it well. But Vra just doesn't have the giddy up. Not sure he got his foot down. Maybe that right foot was still on the ground when he gained possession, but Vra just does not have it. Vra's the guy that can take the top off the coverage. He can't do it with the current condition of that hamstring.
I misspoke a moment ago on Banks. He's from the Chicago area, not from the south side, though. Illinois State does have a few of those. It's a region they do recruit. Here's Neblett. Broke the initial tackle and then swarmed immediately. A 53-yard punt by Ben LeCompte, and that changes field position. Chris Kleiman fired up after the play of his special teams. 14-1, taking over for Craig Bohl, who left after last season to become the head coach at Wyoming. Bohl was the man in charge for the three-peat, and a lot was expected from North Dakota State based on prior success, but this team lost a ton.
No doubt. What a coaching job by North Dakota State staff.
4:06 to go in the first half. Roberson off play action. In trouble. Escapes. And he's finally brought down by Esley Thornton at the 21-yard line, a gain of 8. Brock Spack, the head coach for Illinois State, learned a lot from Joe Tiller over at Purdue.
Yeah, Tiller certainly had an effect on him, and Spack actually was the defensive coordinator, longtime defensive coordinator for Coach Joe Tiller, and that's the identity of his team, that toughness from a defensive coordinating standpoint.
And one of the few men who can sport a mustache. It's not easy to do. Not easy to do.
I think you could pull that off. I honestly think you could pull that off. And the way you grow facial hair, probably before the end of the weekend.
Depending on how long this game goes.
Well, we saw Roberson keep that play alive 2 plays ago, and that's what he brought to Coach Spack's team. Coach Spack said they're a year away, but all of a sudden Roberson started to grow up during the year, and that mobility and keeping plays alive has really changed this offense.
Final 3 minutes of the first half. Illinois State looking to retake the lead. Roberson's going to keep it. He dives across the 35 to the 36. It's a gain of 7.
And all of what you saw in the play late was number 5 being an athlete. Very well covered on the back end by North Dakota State, but the guy you have a hard time putting a hat on is the quarterback that's elusive.
Illinois State over 100 rush yards in this first half. Coppridge pushes ahead, and the second effort gets him a first down.
And some of the run game right now for Illinois State, we talked about Roberson, and a lot of it's been impromptu type of stuff keeping plays alive, but the run game with Coppridge is more of a counting exercise up inside. North Dakota State loves to play 2 high safeties, and typically for a quarterback, that's a run look. And that's what you saw in that last play. Just needed a couple yards to extend this drive.
Coppridge gets a much-deserved breather. Jamal Towns, the sophomore from Harvey, Illinois, in the game. Roberson's pass incomplete. The top 2 receivers for the Redbirds have been shut out here in this first half, Meredith and Neblett.
You know, and I think it has a lot to do with the experienced safeties on the back end for North Dakota State. Christian Dudzik and Colton Hegel have played 116 games. And that experience on the back end, a lot of 2 high safety stuff, and they're the guys that regulate what happens in coverage for North Dakota State. And they're aren't a lot of voids back there in that coverage.
Roberson just 2 out of 8. Blitz. On the run, Roberson floats it upfield. Dangerous pass. Incomplete. Anthony Warren was the intended target, and it's 3rd down and 10.
A great job by Roberson keeping the play alive, but not a good decision on the end. You do not want to float one back in there. This ball easily could have been picked off by Heagle. Didn't finish the play, but that's not where you want to loft one. 5 straight incompletions by Roberson.
He came into this game completing 67% of his passes in the postseason. Coppridge back in on 3rd down. Roberson into coverage. C.J. Smith tipped it, and it's incomplete. Smith had an interception against Towson in the championship game last year. Nearly came up with one there.
And C.J. Smith is explaining himself to Jordan Champion. Watch C.J. Smith have a second chance to catch the ball in the end, and then Jordan Champion comes over and takes it off his helmet. C.J. Smith almost had a tremendous interception. He's complaining to Jordan Champion as he gets off the turf right there.
So Illinois State forced to punt it away. Not a good kick by Laros. It takes a bounce at the 40 and takes a Redbird bounce. So the ball going Illinois State's way, and it'll be down at the 30-yard line. 1:07 to go here in this first half. Adnan Verk in the studio. He's got you covered at the half. They'll preview the national championship game between Ohio State and Oregon, and the Buckeyes and the Hoosiers going down to the wire. Big Ten college basketball.
We'll see if North Dakota State tries to get something done. Short time, couple of timeouts left. A little over a minute. Typically, Carson Wentz makes very good decisions. I think you can trust him in this situation. You would expect North Dakota State to try to at least get in field goal range here late.
Play clock down to 2. The give is to Crockett, and he's trapped in the backfield, a loss of a yard. Good pursuit that time by the defensive end, Patrick Dougherty, senior from Chicago.
And that play is probably an indication that North Dakota State is willing to just go into the half with this lead. A lot of times you run a play, you judge what you do next based on the success of play number 1. That wasn't a very successful play.
Crockett again. He'll crash the middle, turned back by Alex Donnelly. It'll bring up 3rd down. Less than 30 seconds to go in the half. The MegaCast returns to ESPN for the College Football Playoff National Championship. It'll feature more than 12 different ways to follow the game across ESPN platforms, including Film Room on ESPN2, where analysts and coaches will provide in-depth analysis as the game happens, and ESPN Voices on ESPNU. That'll feature a cross-section of on-air personalities from outside the college football world, including Jay Billis, Barry Melrose, and Michael Wilbon. We've got one more half to play in the FCS championship game. North Dakota State, the 3-time defending champs, with a 10-7 lead on conference rival Illinois State. How do you take the temperature of this first half?
A little rust early, and then I think North Dakota State started to show up a little bit, and I think they're in a pretty good position. Illinois State's going to have to deal with them in the second half.
Let's go down to the field and Kara.
On the way over to talk to me, Chris Kleiman talking to his quarterback Carson Wentz. What was your message there to your QB?
Well, we were talking about the win for the second half because they're going to get the football first, and we got to decide what we're going to do in the 3rd and 4th quarter.
What do you think you're going to do in the 3rd and 4th quarter?
Well, I'll talk to the guys inside there, but great, well-played first half. We've got to tackle a little bit better. Obviously, the quarterback's a great player, so we've got to keep him in the pocket to have success.
Something we'll look for. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Anish.
Only a 3-point game, and for the Bison and their faithful, 30 minutes away from a 4th straight championship. Let's go to the studio now, and Adnan Verk. Look at the first half stats. North Dakota State and Illinois State both have been able to move the ball on the ground. Bison, big advantage through the air. Third downs, both teams not as good as they usually are, but they're both facing pretty good defenses. Pay attention at time of possession. That could be a big factor in the second half.
Yeah, I totally agree. Typically, that's when the Bison start to wear down their opponent, but the balance, rush yards, pass yards for the Bison is good as well.
Short kick. North Dakota State doesn't want to kick it to Tevin Allen. And did John Mark Anderson touch the football? He did, and the Bison recover, and a great start for North Dakota State.
And this was not a designed pooch kick. It was just a miss-hit. And North Dakota State hustles down and gets to the football.
It hits the arm of John Mark Anderson, and Chris Board covers it up, so the Bison will start at the Redbird 19-yard line to begin the second half.
And I don't know that Illinois State knew exactly how to handle it. It didn't really matter whether Anderson touched it or not. It's somewhat like an onside kick. And North Dakota State goes down and secures it.
This could turn out to be a critical play in this championship. Wentz rolling to his right, throws it back. And no gain that time, and it looked like that was going to the lineman, and it was Joe Haig, first team all-conference left tackle, eligible receiver.
Remember, we saw this in, I believe it was the semifinal game in the Fargo Dome, and Wentz throws this back to the lineman, and it has to go backward, therefore he's eligible. Any player's eligible as long as the ball goes backwards, and it did on that play. When they ran in the Fargo Dome, it was successful, but it got called back because the play was actually, the pass was actually going forward.
John Crockett tackled right at the 20-yard line, no gain. And it's going to bring up 3rd down and 10. What'd you make of that first down call when you have the ball in the red zone here?
Yeah, I think it's getting a little bit too creative. I think this is a great time after that big special teams play for North Dakota State to just line up and be who they are. Physical run game, active quarterback athletically in the play action passing game. Now you're in a bad situation here on 3rd and long.
Press coverage all the way on the outside. Wentz in trouble, and he's sacked. Braden Prate again getting into the backfield. And that's the 3rd sack for Illinois State.
And it wasn't real quick pressure. Go ahead and let it roll, guys. There just was great coverage on the back end. Not a lot of pressure. There was leakage late by Prate, but there was time to get the ball off, and then not a very good decision by Wentz to climb in the pocket. With Prate standing there, climbing is not what the quarterback wanted to do.
Prate has been the best player on this defense today. 41-yard field goal by Keller, and he drills it. So 2 makes from 41, and with that kick, Adam Keller sets a new FCS record for field goals made in a season. But if you're Illinois State, Brock's back. Without this half started, you'll take giving up 3.
Yeah, good special teams play here early. Illinois State makes a mistake on special teams, but in the end, the defense bails them out.
North Dakota State able to tack on a field goal after Illinois State unable to handle the opening kickoff of the second half.
Yeah, it was a big play, and Chris Board is eventually going to get on the ball, but watch Joe Farmer move that direction, not really aware of where the ball goes. This is essentially just like an onside kick. We see a lot of times they will pooch kick it, but the defense kind of bowed up. I think North Dakota State got a little bit too fancy trying the backwards pass right here to Joe Haig. It's backwards, so an offensive lineman can be eligible. You can see the pressure onto the quarterback. The ball went nowhere. North Dakota State ends up behind the sticks, and Illinois State defensively bailed their team out.
Teams don't like to kick it to number 1 in red, Tevin Allen, the top kick returner in the Missouri Valley. Here's Allen. He'll have a chance inside his own 10. Allen changes directions. And he's tackled shy of the 20-yard line. A 14-yard return by the senior from Florida. Trey Roberson in that first half for Illinois State, 2 of 10 passing, 28 yards, was able to get it done on the ground, 48 yards rushing. His top receivers also need to step up. Meredith and Neblett without a catch. The tight end O'Shaughnessy also without a catch.
And a lot of the rush yards for Roberson were the impromptu kind, keeping plays alive. Remember, Illinois State wants to build their pass game in the play action form off of a run game.
High snap. Roberson, he's going to go downfield. He wants Meredith. Incomplete. C.J. Smith on the coverage. In the semifinal win against New Hampshire, Illinois State was able to hit on a couple of deep balls. We've seen them do that in this postseason. They haven't had a receiver get a step on a guy at all today.
No, not at all. And if you're going to throw deep, C.J. Smith, number 6 right there, is not the guy you want to be picking on. I would go to the opposite side against number 5, Jordan Champion, but 0 separation for Illinois State's receivers vertically.
Smith led the Missouri Valley Football Conference in pass breakups during the regular season. Coppridge breaks 1 tackle, and he got a yard.
Quick penetration by Kyle Emanuel up inside, and let's reset the table. Illinois State is a quarterback zone read team offensively. Usually it's Coppridge between the tackles, with Roberson having the opportunity to keep it outside, but Illinois State, they rely on that, but they need to find a way to get to the edges. North Dakota State is so disciplined in gap defense inside. Illinois State has to get it to the perimeter.
Roberson, the Indiana transfer, 0 for his last 7. Here's the blitz. Roberson gets rid of it. He's got John Mark Anderson, but Anderson about 2 yards shy of the first down, so it'll bring up 4th down for the Redbirds. Christian Dudzik on the tackle.
One of those wily veteran safeties once again, knowing the down and distance that Illinois State has to get. Anderson breaks it off early, and Dudzik was there as the veteran safety to break on the tackle and force this punt.
Dudzik will return the punt. You say veteran, he's a super veteran. This is his 61st career start. He's been a starter on all 3 championship teams, 57-3. So if North Dakota State were to win this game, Dudzik would finish his career with more championships than losses. That's silly.
That is silly. That is crazy. But look at North Dakota State. What's at stake is they have a chance to win 4 in a row. I mean, that is just crazy. And Illinois State, their first appearance here, I thought in the first half, Illinois State handled that type of thing well. Their first appearance in this game. Chris Kleiman's team has been here, it seems like forever. That group of seniors, 57-3. They just simply know how to win this type of game.
And oh, by the way, in that stretch, the Bison have defeated FBS opponents as well. In fact, North Dakota State has beaten FBS opponents in each of the last 5 seasons. Wentz going downfield, and it's broken up. Terrific play by Birch.
What Birch does a great job of, Vraw and one of the coaches on the sideline collided, but what Birch does, if we can go back and take a look at that play, he plays the eyes, the hands, and then the ball. The eyes tell you the ball's coming. The hands get in position to catch it. And then at the last minute, Birch rakes at the ball. That's exactly the way you cover a vertical route when you're behind the receiver.
Wentz on the zone read, and he takes it to the 31-yard line. 3rd down and 3. FCS championship trending now on Twitter. North Dakota State seeking a 4-peat. If Illinois State were to win, it would be the school's first championship in football, 2nd championship overall, the only other one coming in baseball back in 1969.
North Dakota State down in distance-wise is in their wheelhouse. Illinois State has to come up with a negative play if they can right here to get off the field.
This is Wentz on the keeper. He's got some room. Wentz across midfield and taken down at the 35-yard line. It's a 34-yard gain by the Bison quarterback.
The fly sweep motion by Anderson changes where the eyes are defensively for Illinois State, and in the end it was just number 11 Wentz keeping the ball. What an advantage to have when you have a big quarterback that A, makes good decisions, and B, has the explosiveness to make plays like that on 3rd and 3.
Wentz leads the team with 76 yards rushing today. Trouble with the snap. Now he's in trouble, gets away from Kioshin. And he's able to scamper out of bounds and pick up positive yards. He got about 7 on that play.
These bad snaps, actually. Hines is the snapper, number 76, and that ball was to the left. And what you see there is Hines is a polar on that play. The center is actually pulling to his left, and sometimes that's exactly what happened. The snap ends up going awry to the direction that the center is pulling.
Illinois State has done a good job on Crockett, but Wentz has been the X factor in the running game. Kerry Woods in motion. This is Crockett. He smashes through the middle, gets enough for a first down as the Bison move the chain. It is the Bison. The Z is invisible.
Get the Z in there. You're exactly right.
But it is audible. That's how they say it up in Fargo.
And you
Bison.
will hear about it if you don't say it like that. Not that we have experience of not saying it right, but you would hear about it. Trust me.
They'll let you know.
Total yards being totally dominated by North Dakota State currently. Double tights once again with the fullback.
Here's King Frazier, a transfer from Nebraska. Frazier bounces it to the outside, and he's taken down inside the 15-yard line. Another first down for North Dakota State. Give Frazier 11.
What North Dakota State's doing offensively right now is they're going double tight ends with a fullback, and it presents a balanced picture for the defense. So conversely, typically you get a balanced look out of the defense. Carson Wentz goes to the line of scrimmage, decides where his team has the advantage, and they run the play. They ran it to the left one side, they ran it to the right side that time, although Crockett bounced it back to the left.
Darius Anderson. And he's finally turned back. Tackle made by Pat Meehan, outstanding middle linebacker. Illinois State defensive coordinator Spence Nowinski says Meehan is the definition of their defense, a unit that he dubs as the Mutts.
Yeah, and that he means that in a good way. No superstars on that side of the ball, but they play well, very well as a team, and Meehan is the epicenter of that. A very athletic defensive line of scrimmage, and then 33 is the blue-collar guy that holds everything together.
He had a first-team all-conference selection, leading the team with 100-plus tackles.
A balanced look once again.
Crockett up the middle, running behind that line and slips through for a touchdown.
North Dakota State desires to go down Main Street. There's a little penetration here, but the vision cone for the running back Crockett is right down Broadway. You can see there's edge pressure, but by that time there's a push up front, and Crockett takes it into the end zone.
North Dakota State now morphs back into its PAT formation. Play clock down to 4. Kick by Keller is good, and the Bison with a 2-score lead, 20-7. They do their damage in the third quarter, and it's John Crockett. It's a pretty good surname in the state of Texas.
The NCAA FCS Football Championship is brought to you by the Bacon Cheeseburger in the DQ $5 lunch, only at your DQ. And the Quick Silver Card from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back every purchase, every day.
AT&T Stadium in Arlington, just about 40 miles from Frisco, Texas. That'll be the site of Monday's championship game in the FBS between Oregon And Ohio State, Ducks dominant in the semifinals against Florida State, turning over Jameis Winston. Ohio State with a hard-earned victory against Alabama behind the play of Ezekiel Elliott and Cardale Jones.
And Urban Meyer has recruited speed, so Ohio State is not going to be caught off guard in that category.
Yeah, you hear sometimes, oh, he's fast for a Big Ten guy. You didn't hear that after the Alabama game. He's fast, period.
Yeah, with what Urban Meyer is building in Columbus, yeah, that's exactly right.
Allen fields the grounder. One of the most dangerous kick returns in the FCS, and he's to the 34-yard line. John Crockett's touchdown has given the Bison a 2-score lead.
And this is an attitude type of finish. It's right down Main Street, kind of the A-gap run game once again by North Dakota State. Look at the push and look at the finish. And Crockett is their finish guy.
The Bison now in the third quarter this season have dominated their opposition. 157-29 is the scoring margin. Critical drive for Illinois State. Marshawn Coppridge, the All-American, pushes ahead to the 40-yard line, and we go down to Kara.
Guys, Chris Kleiman told us one of the keys to success this year for the Bison is how this year's seniors learned how to lead from last year's seniors. And I just saw an example of that with wide receiver Trevor Gebhardt rallying the offense, saying, stay level-headed, stay disciplined, don't look at the scoreboard right now.
All the dynasty talk, all the talk about a four-peat. The coaches and players on that Bison team have said, hey, that's all for you guys in the media. That's for the fans. They're focused on winning one game. That's been their line throughout this postseason.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly where that senior class that Chris Kleiman has at his disposal currently is 57-3, for crying out loud. They don't think about history. They think about, Coach Kleiman, show us how to win one game. And this is the one game in front of them right now, and they're fixing to take this game over. Illinois State doesn't extend drives and down to distances like this.
Redbirds 1 out of 6 on third downs. They were 58% in the postseason entering the game. And a whistle.
3rd and 3 is about to become 3rd and 8 for Illinois State.
Ball start. Offense, number 80. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
That's the tight end, James O'Shaughnessy. What a big game in the second round against Northern Iowa, but has been quiet today.
I think one of the most important moments in North Dakota State's season, Anish, was after that loss to Northern Iowa. The players came into the locker room wondering how the coaches were going to respond. They said, you know what? Move on. The streak's over. Win one play at a time. It shows up in championship games like this.
Snapped a 33-game win streak. Roberson on 3rd down over the middle, and Meredith able to hang on for a 1st down. Boy, do the Redbirds need that.
And Meredith comes up big. Roberson throws into tight windows, and most of the windows on the back end in this North Dakota State coverage is tight, but coverage did kind of a triangle at the end. All over Meredith, but he looks it in, finishes, and you're right. They desperately needed to extend this drive.
First catch of the game for Meredith, a 1,000-yard receiver who moved from quarterback to wideout a couple of years ago. Coppridge taken down at the 47-yard line. It's a pickup of 3.
And a little different type of run that time. That wasn't necessarily just the read game. It was more of a call give where Lidke, the left tackle, was actually pulling and leading that play, and then Coppridge trying to bounce it outside. I talked about the need for Illinois State to get to the perimeter. That's one way to try to do that.
Roberson gets away. There's a flag on the play. Roberson still on his feet. He's got the 1st down if the play stands. But Laundry back at midfield.
And Colton Hegel coming on the safety blitz. Just cannot believe that Roberson was able to get away from it.
Personal foul. Chop block. Offense, number 25. 15-yard penalty. Replay second down.
Remember what a cut block is right there. Stop it, guys. We can go back just a little bit. It was offensive lineman high. Copperidge comes in low. We'll see one more look at it right here. Offensive line engaged. Copperidge goes low. That's a definition of a chop block. Very well called by the officials on the field.
After the penalty, 2nd and long. Roberson over the middle to Lachine Neblett. And he's very close to a first down. A gain of 21. And from 2nd and 22 to 3rd and 1.
And that exploiting the void in that zone on the back end. And there aren't a lot of voids, but Neblett goes down in front of DeLuca. You can see right there, 49 is DeLuca, the middle linebacker that runs the middle in the Tampa 2, and then Dudzik is over the top of that. They find that void right in front of them.
Neblett over 1,000 yards receiving on the season with that last catch. And it appears Illinois State got enough for a first down.
Kara told us that Brock Speck told her that they have to get the passing game going. 2 really, really important completions on this drive, exploiting that Tampa 2 coverage down the middle of the field.
Trey Roberson wears a Superman t-shirt under his shoulder pads. Might be time to
bring
out the cape, go into the phone booth. Roberson all day to throw, now being pressured. And he spun down. He only lost a yard, though. It's Greg Menard, one of the backup defensive linemen, with the sack.
And Menard was actually in for Kyle Emanuel, but he gets the same kind of pressure. Good coverage on the back end led to Menard being able to get home right there. He eventually gets by a very good left tackle in Lidke, number 59, and finishes at the quarterback.
That's one of the strengths of the Bison defense, depth on the D-line. You don't see it a lot at this level.
Yeah, that's a good point. They keep rotating through there, about 7 or 8 deep.
Roberson again with time. Again, nobody open. Littlejohn giving chase. And Roberson throws it downfield. It's caught by O'Shaughnessy, and he takes it all the way for an Illinois State touchdown. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. There is a flag at the 35.
Roberson pass complete to number 80, O'Shaughnessy.
Holding. Defense, number 5. That penalty's declined. Touchdown.
Don't hold on. The Redbirds with a much-needed spark. Quarterback to tight end, making it happen.
We talked about Trey Roberson arriving in August has made this team better because of plays like this. O'Shaughnessy finishes extremely well on the other end, but that was about Roberson's athleticism keeping a play alive. It was DOA.
Give O'Shaughnessy, the tight end, some credit. He makes the catch, spins around, takes it to the house. So all the receivers that were absent in the first half emerge on that drive, and the Redbirds right back in this game. It's the NCAA FCS Football Championship presented by Northwestern Mutual. Oh, it's a game again. 20-14, North Dakota State leading Illinois State. And Ishraf, Kelly, Stauffer, Kara Capuano down on the field. The FCS championship between 2 schools from the Missouri Valley Football Conference. And James O'Shaughnessy with a 41-yard touchdown. It was creativity by the quarterback and great effort by the tight end, getting the Redbirds back into this contest.
And we talked about Roberson keeping plays alive, number 5 right there. And O'Shaughnessy says, you know what, big guy, just throw it up to me once in a while, and we'll all be fine. But the passing game is alive and well in this second half for Illinois State. don't sleep on an onside kick right here. I don't know that Illinois State will seize the moment, but a lot of times when the other team is reeling after a big play, you see stuff in special teams.
Eric Perkins from the 5. And Perkins finally subdued at the 32-yard line. Well, the usual suspects who were unusually absent in the first half reappeared on that last drive.
Those suspects booted the ball in the first half, putting it on the ground, but we saw Meredith, and there we see Neblett, and here we're going to see the big tight end, O'Shaughnessy. A difficult catch to make, to say the least, but North Dakota State didn't even know that there was a tackle there to be made, and O'Shaughnessy spins the big body out of it and gets in the end zone.
Neblett and Meredith had big catches to move the chains. O'Shaughnessy the touchdown. All three were without a reception in the first half, and those three are Illinois State's top receivers. The fullback Andrew Bonnet barges up to the 34-yard line for a gain of 3.
And meanwhile, North Dakota State is just going to be true to who they are. The one thing that we've learned about this group of players, Anish, is they're really comfortable with what they're being asked to do. They're confident in their system, and their system right now is about a physical run game, lull the coverage of Illinois State into losing discipline with their eyes, and try to get vertical over the top.
Final 90 seconds of this third quarter. Crockett brought down at the 40-yard line. He's a couple of yards shy of the marker. Third down coming up, but these are the third downs North Dakota State likes to be in.
3rd and 2. You know, you have a successful run on first down that funnels to second and manageable, that funnels to third in a high probability that this team can convert, which they've done all year, converting it over 50%. This is the reason why right here.
On the ground again. And Crockett able to pick up the first down as he gets 4. Super Tuesday on ESPN, presented by Cree. First at 7, a Big Ten battle between the Wolverines and the Buckeyes. Then we head to the SEC. Number 1 Kentucky taking on Missouri. Super Tuesday on ESPN, the home court of college hoops. Should be the final play of the third quarter. Wentz to the air on first down. Open receiver. It's Gebhardt. Slips one tackler using the stiff arm before he's driven out by Tevin Allen.
We talked about North Dakota State being a lot of double tight fullback, and now they put one tight end in, 3 wideouts, and just run Gebhardt out. And after a vertical has softened the coverage outside, Gebhardt breaks in behind that vertical route and finds that void in the zone.
Now it looks like some of the North Dakota State players are holding up 4 fingers. It's for the 4th quarter, but they're also 1 quarter away from a 4th straight championship. That's what's on the line. 15 minutes left in regulation. 3-time defending champion North Dakota State. Well, they've got 3 of those in their trophy case just from the last 3 years. The 4 fingers, that's for the 4th quarter. We can take it 1 step further. We know what's being played for here.
Wouldn't that be something, 4 in a row? But Illinois State is game. They have to find a way defensively to get off the field right here, but they played themselves into this 4th quarter, that's for sure.
They saw a spark from the Redbirds on their last drive. And the Bison looking to respond and make it a 2-score game once again. Play action, Wentz rolling to his left. in trouble, tries to shovel it off, and it's ruled incomplete. 2nd and 10. Pat Meehan applying the pressure.
We've talked about how North Dakota State likes to run that A-gap power play. This is the power pass off of that same run. You still pull a guard to sell the run, but it's play action. But again, very well covered on the back end. There were opportunities against New Hampshire that New Hampshire had vertically against this secondary. Illinois State has played very well today.
Crockett takes the handoff across the 30 and pushes forward to the 25-yard line. A gain of 13 and a first down for the Bison.
We saw the power pass. This time you're going to get the back leading up inside, and then a guard is just going to step around right there. And this is actually out of the ace formation, no fullback, but you still get the puller. The guard coming from the right side pulls around and leads to the left. Crockett is disciplined, gets up in the A-gap, double tight ends, and it worked very well right there.
15 carries, 58 yards for John Crockett. They feed him again. And he's to the 22-yard line. Go back to the semifinal game against Sam Houston State. In the defining drive of that game for the Bison, they gave it to Crockett about 10 times or something, 8 times on one drive, and they ran the same play about 6 times in a row.
6 times in a row, and I think 8 out of 9 plays were that play, and that's what we see, the A-gap power, and they can get to it in different ways. Single back in this case with tight ends in the game, but sometimes it's with the fullback as well.
It was a 14-play drive, and Crockett got it 10 times on that drive. Quick screen to Woods. And Woods moves the chains. Let's check in with Adnan in the studio. I shaved this morning, so no chance of that. King Frazier just picked up about 6. 2nd down and 4. North Dakota State driving. And they've possessed the ball for almost 29 minutes in this game. Crockett again. Now this feels like what we saw in the semifinals.
It's the kind of the closing type of mentality that North Dakota State has. And remember, their identity, and really the entire program, but certainly offensively, is about a power run game. And even if it doesn't pay dividends in the first 3 quarters, typically it shows up in places just like this.
It's a big test right now for Illinois State, which is not as deep up front as North Dakota State. Chase Morlock in the backfield, 3rd and 3. 11th play of the drive. And the give is to Morlock. And he's turned back by the Redbirds. Big hold there by Illinois State.
Number 25, Morlock with the carry.
I certainly think it's going to be a field goal attempt to try to go up by 9. We see the field goal unit coming on now. Certainly the right decision, but at 3rd and 3, that was a great play right there for Illinois State defensively.
Adam Keller has hit from 41 twice today. This is from 24. With his 2 field goals in this game, he's the FCS single season leader for field goals. And the 24-yarder is good. The lead balloons to 9, 23-14. Illinois State is by no means out of this. Still plenty of time left in Frisco. Chris Kleiman, a first-year head coach at North Dakota State, promoted from defensive coordinator after last season. And his Bison team 11 minutes and 20 seconds away from becoming the first team in college football to win 4 consecutive championships since Augustana in the mid-1980s. Augustana did it at the Division III level. Illinois State set to receive, down by 9. Still plenty of time for the Redbirds. John Mark Anderson. And he is taken down at the 16-yard line. So the Redbirds, 84 yards to go as they get the ball after a 9-yard return.
That tackle was made by Chris Board, number 1 right there. Remember, he's the one that recovered that kick to start this second half, and that was a tremendous play. He was really double teamed. He split the double team and made a tremendous play.
Man down for Illinois State. It's Cameron Meredith, their top wide receiver. Meredith was a guy who was the backup quarterback for a couple of seasons, moved over to wide receiver prior to the start of the 2013 season. And head coach Brock Spack has said Cam didn't think he was a wide receiver for a while. We had to talk him into it, and he's become their go-to guy this year.
And his size in combination with his speed has been huge for this team. He's really a go-to guy for Trey Roberson. Haven't seen him a lot today because of the nature of the coverage on the back end for North Dakota State that is not really matchup oriented. It's more about, you know, zone and Tampa 2 and making the offense find voids in that zone.
Trey Roberson back out for Illinois State. It's Anderson at the 20, and Anderson gets to the 23-yard line, tackled by Littlejohn, a gain of 7. Roberson struggled in the passing game in the first half. That last drive was when it started to come together.
And in the way that it's designed to come, you know, they run the football effectively and then play action pass, and then you get those bonus plays when Roberson gets outside the pocket and makes something good happen as well.
Roberson will keep this. Has a lane. Roberson inside the 40 and run out of bounds by Dudzik near the 30-yard line.
You can't sleep on the quarterback in the quarterback zone read scheme. North Dakota State loses the edge as Mike Hardy actually stepped down inside, and Roberson reads it well, pulls it, and gashes North Dakota State defensively.
A gain of 47. Roberson, 8 rushes, 94 yards. Pistol look on 1st and 10. Over the middle, nearly intercepted by Thornton. There is a flag.
Illegal formation. Offense. 5 men in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
Yeah, basically the rule is that someone that should have been on the line of scrimmage was off the line of scrimmage, most likely the tight end in that particular play. Big missed opportunity by Thornton, hitting right in the gizzard.
This is Coppridge, leading rusher in the FCS. Coppridge breaking tackles inside the 10 to the 5, and finally run out of bounds at the 2-yard line by Dudzik.
Illinois State getting loose in their run game here on this drive. We saw Roberson keep it on the quarterback zone read on the big play, and then it's Coppridge inside right here. That was a design give and block to give the ball inside. Coppridge breaks the line of contain and then busts outside.
Oh, this is new technology we're debuting today. Pylon cam. Coppridge coming right into your living room. And with that last run, 100+ yards today. So he's now gone over 100 yards in 14 of his team's 15 games. Only New Hampshire in the semifinals held Coppridge under the century mark.
And what that pylon cam showed is that Coppridge's knee was down before the ball is extended right there. The knee is down before it extends the ball. That's why this ball ends up at the 2-yard line. That's a pretty view of it, though, isn't it?
That's what it looks like.
Camera is hitting that pylon, and we get all kinds of terrific views in that end zone, up and down the lines.
On 1st and goal, here's Coppridge, and he's tackled by Emmanuel for a loss.
One of the areas that Illinois State has been weak this year is finishing in the red zone with touchdowns, only 60%. It really doesn't go hand in hand with their record. Typically, it's pushing 70% to be a good red zone team.
Meredith in the slot, Coppridge in the backfield. Quarterback draw. Roberson will try to keep it, and he gets to the 3-yard line. 3rd down and goal. Is this 4-down territory for Brock Spack?
No, I don't really think it needs to be. A field goal will get you back into a 1-possession game, so I think it's all depending on the success of this play. If they don't get in the end zone, how much do they have left? But a field goal does you a lot of good right now as well. It'd be hard to take this ball out of Trey Roberson's hand right here.
Neblett the motion man. Roberson throwing into the end zone. And it's caught for a touchdown. O'Shaughnessy with his 2nd touchdown of the game.
The thing that O'Shaughnessy does on this reception is he works his way back to the football. That ball's probably going to be picked off, but O'Shaughnessy with that big body works back to it and basically out-rebounds the coverage.
A snap by the All-American Chris Highland, the hold by Kuhn, and the point after by Nick Ossecker is good. A 2-point game in Frisco in the FCS championship. James O'Shaughnessy coming up big in the 2nd half. The MegaCast returns to ESPN for the College Football Playoff National Championship. It'll feature more than 12 different ways to follow the game across ESPN platforms. Film Room on ESPN2, ESPN Voices on ESPNU. That'll feature a cross-section of on-air personalities from outside the college football world. And, of course, you're covered on ESPN3 and the Watch ESPN app. Oregon, Ohio State, Monday, about 40 miles from here in Arlington.
How about the play that O'Shaughnessy made? That was a tremendous job of working back to the football is what really made this play. Roberson knows it's going to be a tight window, and he throws the fastball in there. But watch right here. Come downhill and work back to the ball, or that ball may have been picked off by Andrew Smith, number 28. A good job of O'Shaughnessy recognizing what's needed. Roberson trusted the big guy, and the big guy came through.
The NCAA FCS Football Championship is presented by Northwestern Mutual, proud official partner of the College Football Playoff National Championship game.
If you're just joining us, we've got a good one. The FCS Championship, 2 schools from the Missouri Valley Football Conference The Redbirds of Illinois State from Normal, Illinois, jumped out to a 7-3 lead. North Dakota State at one point had a 2-score lead at 20-7. It's now 23-21. The Bison with the football. They're less than 8 minutes away from a 4th consecutive FCS championship. And the give is to John Crockett on first down. And Crockett doesn't get much. He got maybe a yard. And it'll bring up 2nd down and 9, tackled by Pat Meehan.
Well, this certainly is closing time for North Dakota State. You know, their MO is to run the football anyway in a powerful type of presentation, and this is all about closing time. A couple tight ends in the game, single back in this particular case, and just run the clock, move the chains, close it out.
Wentz drops back, throws near side. That's caught. R.J. Urzendowski, the true freshman, hit out of bounds after a gain of 14.
Time of possession, certainly North Dakota State, that's one of the building blocks for their entire program, is for their offense to possess it. They're winning that time of possession, but Illinois State hasn't gone anywhere. Big plays offensively for Illinois State has kept them in the game.
Redbirds crowd the line, expecting run. Out of the eye, it's Crockett. Taken down by Meehan after a gain of 3, 2nd down and 7. Kelly, with North Dakota State, we've seen this in the past. Here they're going to try to bleed the clock, play slow, grind out first downs. If they have it their way, Illinois State won't get the ball back.
That's exactly what North Dakota State has in mind. We saw the A-gap power on that last play once again. Fullback leads, guard pulls, Crockett runs up the middle. Look for Wentz to get out on the edge sometime on this drive, sooner rather than later.
Illinois State changes up on defense. Wentz is going to keep it straight up the middle. 3rd down and short. If you're the Redbirds, what you bank on with your defense, a couple of times we've seen it, they've gotten big stops, even after the muffed kickoff that North Dakota State recovered. Illinois State able to hold the Bison to 3. Last time when the Bison were driving, the Redbirds were able to hold them to 3. The defense has not broken so far this afternoon. Crockett on 3rd and 2. Turned back. 4th down coming up. It was Meehan on the stop. And if you're Chris Kleiman, do you go for it?
It looks like they're going to dial up. Most likely quarterback sneak right here on 4th and short. Winning 3 national championships in a row is not without risk, and Chris Kleiman is putting it all on the line right here.
They'll hand it off to Crockett, and he gets a first down. A championship play by the senior.
Well, Chris Kleiman just keeps his best group out on the field. A couple of fullbacks, tight end, and behind their running game identity, and Crockett takes it up inside, and that's a belief in John Crockett as much as anything. He's an efficient runner, and typically he's disciplined at the point of attack, staying with the design of the play. That design was all about getting a foot and a half, and certainly successful right there.
Now Illinois State getting close to that territory where you've got to start thinking about timeouts. How are you going to get the ball back? Crockett zigzags to the 35-yard line for a gain of 2. It's 2nd and 8.
As we get close to 4 minutes, you would think that Illinois State probably after this play calls a timeout, hoping that they're getting North Dakota State to a 3rd down. And I would be really surprised if quarterback Carson Wentz doesn't keep one of these here soon. Keep the ball in your quarterback's hands. He doesn't have to throw it, but the naked boot off of that power run game would look mighty good right here.
Wentz leads the team in rushing today with 88 yards. And it's been a run-heavy offense. Wentz will keep it. You called it, Kelly. He stumbles and is gobbled up by Corwin for a short loss, and now 3rd and long coming up for the Bison.
That was a design quarterback run, but I didn't really like the choice. I rather present power, which you've been doing on this drive, and boot your quarterback outside. That time it was getting the motion across the face of that defense and then trying to get the quarterback up inside. I think now you're forced to throw the football because of that negative play.
They've got John Crockett, the running back, lined up in the slot. Wentz has time. Nobody open. And Wentz goes down. Sacked by Colin Keoshin, who was a running back last year and has made great strides on the interior of that defensive line.
And incredible coverage on the back end for Illinois State as they burn a timeout right here, I believe. But tell me if you can see an open receiver anywhere deep. Great job of pattern and route reading. Nobody open whatsoever. Plenty of time to throw the football initially. Nobody open down the field.
4 sacks for Illinois State. The Bison had given up just 16 all season entering the game. It's going to be a great finish in Frisco. Chris Kleiman's North Dakota State Bison will have to get it done with defense, trying to become the first FCS school to win 4 straight titles. The Bison will kick it away with 2:30 to go here in regulation, up by 2, so a field goal could potentially win it for Illinois State. Ben Lecomte with the punt, lands inside the 5. It'll go into the end zone, and Illinois State will start at the 20, down to 2:22 to go. The FCS championship is one of the last fall NCAA titles to be awarded this season. You can catch up on all of the great championship stories from every fall sport in every division on NCAA.com. See who the winners were from cross country to volleyball by logging on today. For Illinois State, this is a program-defining possession.
And it's all about number 5 right here. Quarterback Trey Roberson made this team different. He needs to win this game right now.
Roberson going long on 1st down, incomplete, intended for Meredith.
An interesting play call to start this drive. Illinois State hasn't gotten vertical all day, so you basically shoot a bullet on 1st down. It gets you behind the sticks now right here.
Illinois State going into the wind. The flag's on the far goalpost. Not really moving a ton, but you see the American flag at the top of the stadium, the wind blowing in. So if it came down to a field goal, the Redbirds would be kicking into the wind. Roberson across the middle. He's got John Mark Anderson wrapped up by Dudzik after a gain of a dozen. That moves the chains and momentarily stops the clock. And there are the flags, the wind blowing in, but look at the flags on the goalpost not moving as much, but still, you're going to be kicking into the wind. Roberson near sideline, that's caught. Lachine Neblett with the reception, and with less than 2 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, that'll stop the clock.
A very good early start on this drive. Roberson seeing it clearly, throwing the ball accurately. That time it was just an out route by Neblett. A little too soft on the coverage by C.J. Smith, but importantly, Neblett gets out of bounds.
Roberson, the transfer from Indiana, looking to lead Illinois State to its first football championship. 4-man rush. Incomplete.
O'Shaughnessy, the tight end, moving across the formation on the crossing route. Roberson was inaccurate. put it on the back hip, and O'Shaughnessy couldn't go down and get it.
So 3rd and 1. The Redbirds have 2 timeouts. A run play still on the table here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. 2 timeouts, minute 47, and that last was a passing play because you can run it probably on 3rd and 1.
It is a run play, and it's Roberson. There goes Trey Roberson. Touchdown, Illinois State. A 58-yard touchdown run by Trey Roberson. He wears the Superman shirt underneath those pads. And we saw the man of steel show up here in the 4th quarter. He has been superb in the 2nd half. And the Redbirds want a timeout as they were looking to set up for a 2-point conversion.
State, 2nd charge.
We talked about the core of what Illinois State wants to do offensively is a quarterback read game. What's going to happen is you're going to lose the edge right there. Roberson reads it well. Actually, I was to the wrong side. It was the soft edge to the right, but the same principle. The quarterback read scheme is the epicenter of what Illinois State wants to do. The soft edge outside, right there. Roberson keeps it and makes North Dakota State pay. And remember, when Roberson keeps the football, he turns into a really, really good running back. He isn't just looking to get a few yards, he's looking to get an explosive play.
In this postseason, Roberson has accounted for 12 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Brock Spack, the head coach for Illinois State, has said he thought his team was a year away. The forecast changed when Roberson accelerated the future plans by showing up from Bloomington in a DeLorean. 2-point conversion. That's broken up by Jordan Champion. Still for North Dakota State now. They've got 3 timeouts, 98 seconds to go, but they need a touchdown. This great run for the Bison began in 2011 with a win against Sam Houston State in the FCS championship in January of the following year. It was the Bearcats of Sam Houston State again who the Bison met in the 2013 championship game, and North Dakota State rolled 39-13. And last year, in what was a dominating postseason run, Sam O'Jury, John Crockett, and Brock Jensen made it a three-peat with a win against Towson out of the CAA. You talk about the heart of a champion and having the championship experience. All those intangibles, they're now in play now.
Certainly North Dakota State has to find a new way to win. They're not used to being behind in situations like this. And they're not used to having to drive the football late offensively in the 2-minute situation. They're going to have to spread it out. They're going to have to throw it. It isn't exactly their forte, but Carson Wentz is a true talent at quarterback.
John Crockett back deep on kickoffs. Crockett from inside his own 10-yard line, taken down at the 22. And that's James O'Shaughnessy down for Illinois State.
This was an incredibly violent collision, and Crockett went back because of the big play potential that he has. He's dependable back there, and you need one big play, and the collision between O'Shaughnessy and Crockett was an incredible one. You take a look at this. Crockett believes he sees daylight, and all of a sudden 80 O'Shaughnessy steps out from behind the blocker. That did not look pretty.
O'Shaughnessy has had a big game. The 2 catches were both touchdowns. Really, that 41-yard touchdown changed this game. It was 20-7 North Dakota State. The Redbirds needed some sort of a spark, and O'Shaughnessy made the catch in traffic, almost had to wrestle it away from the defender, and then turned upfield, broke a tackle, and got into the end zone for a touchdown. After the game, you can watch the post-game trophy presentation on ESPN3. Cara Capuano will be down on the field with the winning coach and the winning team. But we still have a minute 35 to play in regulation. Go back to the second round against South Dakota State. It was the Bison using a late drive that ended with a touchdown to Urzendowski as North Dakota State was able to escape at the Fargo Dome.
False start. Offense, number 85. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's on the tight end, Kevin Vodlin. So you back it up to the 17-yard line. 83 yards to go in 95 seconds. All 3 timeouts in play for the Bison. Wentz over the middle. He's got Urzendowski near midfield. The true freshman tackled by Allen after a 32-yard pickup.
Urzendowski really on a deep post route that turns into kind of an over route. Matched up on Taven Allen, and a really good catch, but a tremendous throw by Carson Wentz.
Low snap. Here's the blitzer. Urzendowski again gets the corner and driven out of bounds after a first down. It was Urzendowski, remember, who was the hero of that second-round win against South Dakota State. He had the game-winning grab in the last minute.
Urzendowski is a true freshman, but his football IQ is off the charts. He flashed early in training camp and has been flashing ever since. And Illinois State playing one high safety, man-to-man underneath, and losing the battle currently.
Clock stopped with 1:10 to go. 4-man rush. Wentz with time. He's going to take a shot downfield. Incomplete. He wanted Crockett, who was covered by Alex Donnelly, and good coverage that time by Donnelly.
And that was just an adjustment late. Crockett goes vertical on Alex Donnelly, number 40 right there, and Crockett had a step. But that was all outside of the design. Great pass protection up front currently by North Dakota State on a highly productive and athletic defensive line of scrimmage.
Urzendowski in the slot, Morlock in the backfield. Wentz under pressure, has to get rid of it, throws it away, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 10, clearly 4-down territory. 57 seconds to go in regulation. North Dakota State, the 3-time defending champion, down by 4.
Illinois State deciding to bring pressure. Safety Dante McCoy, number 3, was the one that had the quick pressure. Carson Wentz spun out of it and got that football away.
Chris Kleiman calls a timeout here on 3rd and 10. 2 left now for North Dakota State.
It'd be interesting to see if we see something of the tight end, Kevin Vodlin. We talked about him at the top of the show, being able to stress those safeties in the middle of the field. We haven't seen a lot of him. Now would be a great time for 85 Kevin Vodlin to show off.
Only 1 catch for 18 yards for the 6th-year senior. Illinois State did not play North Dakota State this season, but they did in the previous 3 seasons, and the Bison won all 3 of those matchups. If the Redbirds can hold, it would be their 6th fourth-quarter comeback of the season and the first championship in football in school history. Empty look, and now Crockett comes back. Redbirds showing blitz. Wentz hit as he throws it. Urzendowski makes the catch. First and goal, North Dakota State.
Illinois State takes a huge chance. 0 blitz, man-to-man coverage on the back end, and Urzendowski sees the football, adjusts well. What a tremendous adjustment at the end, and North Dakota State is going to call another timeout right here.
3 catches on this drive for R.J. Urzendowski. He's a true freshman. This is a program that doesn't play a lot of true freshmen. You've got to be special, otherwise they're going to redshirt you.
And think of Urzendowski flashed early in camp, and watch the adjustment on the end. Coming out of his slot, just running a vertical route from that inside slot position. He sees it, the defender doesn't, and that was glass on the coverage.
How about the trust that this team and this quarterback Carson Wentz has in Urzendowski, the true freshman, with everything on the line? That's the guy that they're targeting.
And I think they really like that matchup. Urzendowski was in the slot. He forces Glass, the backup free safety, to come over in that man-to-man coverage. There was pressure on Wentz, by the way, in that 0 blitz. The blitz didn't get to the quarterback quickly enough. Wentz gets the throw off, and the true freshman Urzendowski pays it off.
41 seconds, 5 yards to go. How many run plays can you call here? Do you call a run play?
Yeah, I think run play certainly with 1 timeout left is on the table. And remember, Wentz is a very good runner of the football.
And Wentz is going to keep it. Wentz into the end zone. The Bison retake the lead. If you've just tuned in, the last 2 minutes of this game has been championship caliber football at its finest.
I think we just saw on that drive what the heart of a champion looks like.
And you know what, Kelly? I'm not ready to write this one off. Illinois State, 37 seconds left. 1 timeout. They've got a dangerous return man in Tevin Allen.
Offside. Defense number 23. Half the distance to the goal. Replay the try.
The pendulum has swung violently here in the last few minutes in Frisco. Keller's extra point is blocked. And that could be crucial.
Remember, prior to this point after touchdown try, Illinois State was getting some penetration right over the football, and head coach Chris Climate from North Dakota State was complaining that Illinois State was jumping on and over defenders, which you can't do, and he brought that to the officials' attention, and that time Illinois State goes up and gets it.
Adam Keller had not missed a PAT all season. And now if you're Illinois State, you've got the 1 timeout. You just need a field goal, but you're probably kicking into the wind. For the Redbirds, their kicker, Nick Osseker, season-long 45, career-long 47. Following our game, Baylor, TCU basketball. And don't forget, the post-game trophy presentation can be seen on ESPN3. 37 seconds left in what has been a terrific championship game.
And remember, the kickoff man, Barnson, hasn't exactly been getting good kickoffs today either. So he desperately needs to get his foot into one of these, and particularly keep it away from Tevin Allen, number 1.
Allen averaging 30 yards a return, has a touchdown this season. He won't get a chance. It's John Mark Anderson. Anderson wrapped up at the 26-yard line, 33 seconds to go. And can Trey Roberson do it again?
Remember, Roberson has some big play guys outside. We talked about Meredith at 6'3", 200 pounds, and his game is to go up and get the football. So a jump ball to number 19 would come in handy right now. And then Neblett is more of the vertical guy with the speed to get downfield. But O'Shaughnessy on that kickoff coverage, remember, he took the shot, and he's not even in the game right now, but he's been a very good receiver today.
Freshman Michael Clements in at tight end. Roberson slings it over the middle. That's caught by Neblett at the 41-yard line. A gain of 14. The clock continues to run. Well, it'll stop momentarily. It'll run after they spot it. And now it starts to go. And Roberson spikes it, but a flag.
Okay. Illegal substitution. Offense, number 86. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
That's Clements, the freshman, and he's in because O'Shaughnessy got hurt.
North Dakota State is going to stay in their too-high safety look. Tampa 2 coverage that is all about the design of that defense, and that coverage is to force throws in front of you and not give up big plays.
Roberson steps up. He's going to take off, and he gets out of bounds at the 45-yard line. It's a gain of 9. 13 seconds left. 1 timeout left for Brock Spack and the Redbirds.
You really have designed to get a throw downfield to the sideline, get it out of bounds, and get yourself in a better position to throw the Hail Mary to get it into the end zone. That's probably what's behind the design of this play right here.
Over the middle in traffic. And they say it's intercepted by North Dakota State. Esley Thornton took it away from Joe Farmer. And now flags rain down near midfield.
The ruling on the field, interception by North Dakota State. First down.
And Farmer had the ball early, and Thornton apparently took it away late. It was very hard to see. This was going to be a first down. And that ball was loose early. It did not go to the ground, and Farmer gave it up to Thornton.
Championship resolve on display. And Chris Kleiman's team a couple of kneel downs away from a familiar refrain.
And I think Brock Spack is hoping that this is going to be reviewed, and not sure what is there. The ball was not possessed by Farmer when he went to the ground.
And that's the key.
Exactly, and the ball never touched the ground, and Thornton was there in an opportunistic way to take the football away. I think that's going to stand his call.
Farmer had possession of that football, you could make the case very easily. He's down. Illinois State has the ball. but it appears he didn't really possess the football. Ball never touches the ground, and that's why North Dakota State is a couple kneel downs away from a 4th straight title.
And there's no doubt the replay officials are taking a look at it and have taken a look at it already, but I think it was impeccably well called on the field to begin with, and the video evidence will just confirm that.
Now this 4th quarter has provided outstanding theater. Two teams that on paper look to be each other's equals, and the game played out that way.
And how about Thornton?
After further review, the ruling on the field of an interception stands. North Dakota State ball, first down.
That's what we thought would happen. And how about Thornton? He's the outside linebacker. He and Wentz actually came as quarterbacks together in the same recruiting class. And Chris Kleiman said they had to make a decision of which one of them went to outside linebacker, and I think they both won. Wentz is a very good quarterback, and Thornton comes up with a huge play.
Thornton, the senior from Bismarck, North Dakota. Wentz, the quarterback, the junior from the same town. Carson Wentz will take the knee, some extracurriculars. The Dakota dynasty lives on. 4 consecutive titles for the Bison of North Dakota State.
And flags have appeared on the field, and it's absolutely chaos, as you can see, but officials threw the flags. Chris Kleiman was trying to clear his guys off, but good luck with that now.
Well, I think the officials have given up here. North Dakota State with a 2-point win over Missouri Valley Football Conference rival Illinois State in what was just a terrific championship game. If this was the build-up, if this was the end result of the playoff, man, if you watched or you were here in Frisco today, you were in for a treat.
And we thought it would be a good game, but I think you're overbidding it to think it was going to be like this. That is about as good as this type of game gets, fittingly so.
4 straight championships for North Dakota State. Division III Augustana, the last college football team to win 4 straight titles. The Bison, the first to do it in the FCS. For Kara Capuano and Kelly Stauffer, I'm Anish Shroff. Post-game trophy celebration over on ESPN3. Coming up next here on ESPN2, it's Baylor and TCU, Big 12 basketball.